in the best of marriages, affairs can happen, but for one couple, infidelity made their marriage even stronger.
In Surprised by Love, Jay and Julie Kent Ferraro write candidly about how cheating led them to get a divorce, and then they fell in love again.
It's all told in this terrific book, and Hoda was just mentioning to you how brilliantly you laid the book out as we got inside both of your souls as you're unraveling this story for us.
Little in baby steps, which was interesting, because most things don't go from 0 to 60. Your marriage didn't go from great to falling apart. Yeah. You had an affair.
I did have an affair.
Why did you choose to go down that road?
Ego and ignorance of the two things that I say. I became really self-absorbed and consumed with my own needs, neglecting hers. And despite the fact that I was a licensed clinician,
I know, you were a counselor.
I became really a fraud. I was a hypocrite. And I told people things that I didn't believe and I didn't follow myself. And it led down a very slippery path of relaxing boundaries and lowering standards.
How did you find out he was cheating? Did he tell you, or did you discover it on your own?
He wasn't forthcoming with that.
No, that took about 60 pages to get to that.
It takes a long time in the book to get to that. No, I ended up, we had a period where we were in a lot of conflict because I was doing what we call policing, trying to check up on everything because things weren't right. I ended up having to hire a private investigator and have him kind of tracked down to get it.
But then he took umbrage at that because he just thought, this is my a privacy issue. You wanted both, didn't you? You felt entitled to it.
That's the excuse that a lot of men who are having affairs use. They feel that they have a right to their privacy, and then they use that as an excuse to justify it.
Let's turn the corner, because a lot of couples get just where you were. You police, you found out, and it's over, and the divorce happens, and that's
children are left in the rubble.
But you guys managed to circle back around. And I know everyone wants to know how you ever came to terms, especially how you came to terms with it.
For me, it was a day-to-day decision. Each day, I mean, certainly I wanted to strangle him. I was so upset. I was so hurt. But really, for me, it was like, because he's acting this way, does that give me the right to do that? Because that's not who I am. So each day, it was one decision at a time on how to handle it. And we were able to kind of come together around the friends. I realized how important the kids having a great relationship with their father was going to be, no matter how I felt about him.
You always encouraged that.
And so I always encouraged that. I would go to dinner, do things like that to help foster that relationship with the kids.
And yet at one point, one of your daughters, I think it was your daughter, that found high heels in your apartment, and she didn't want to see you anymore. She was angry.
That's true. The title, Surprised by Love, comes from the fact that I was humbled, absolutely broken, by the fact that she continued to love me defiantly according to her own values, not by my behavior. I didn't have any right to have that love, but because that's who she is, she loved me, and it transformed our whole experience.
And how much did your own personal faith play a part in all of this?
It was huge. I think it was the only way that I was able to get through that and not lose my own integrity in the process. Every attorney says, let's take him through the car wash or whatever. That's not who I am. And so with a lot of prayer.
Did you worry just quickly he'd do it again? Because sometimes you wonder if
trust is hard to get back.
One thing.
It's one day at a time trust. A lot of accountability has to be in place. And it takes time. It's not something that when you're betrayed, they go, okay, I'm sorry, and I've ended it, and you trust him again the next day.
And were you this forthright with your children ultimately about it?
Ultimately, yes, they know what happened in child language. They understand what happened, and of course we emphasize the lessons of the book, which are that love transcends any circumstance and is more powerful than any failure.
Love is a choice.
Absolutely.
So is forgiveness. You guys made the right choice. Congratulations.
And it's a really great book. I love how it's written.
Moving. And it's so moving. You understood both.
Yeah, you
got
really
it.
Did.
Terrific.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.